Let me ask you a question. Do you think that you can just vibe your way to becoming a successful artist? I think you intuitively know that you can't. So if you can't just vibe your way, like live through life just doing what you would naturally do, then how would you become an artist? And you kind of have a vague idea of the answer, but let me try to give you a more specific approach. That approach is through self-improvement. Now, there's a misconception about self-improvement, and it's very unmasculine in a sense. Many times when they talk about self-improvement, it's things like drinking enough water every day or getting 10,000 steps, kind of like cute things that might slightly improve your life. When I talk about self-improvement, what I mean is life-changing goals that are big and ambitious that you work really hard for. And the cute habits that are like walking 10,000 steps or drinking enough water and other related things are kind of like little helps to that. Like if you are healthy, your brain will be sharper, and that will make you able to work harder on the main tasks that will get your goal, like practicing drawing and trying to make a business out of it. And that's the main point of self-improvement. I want you to set a goal. And I know this just sounds just basic as hell, but if you really think about it, you're probably not doing this properly. Like if I actually told you or asked you, what is your goal? You might be able to give me like some vague answer. It's like, oh yeah, I want to be an artist. But it's like, you couldn't tell me a specific goal. Like by this date, I want to do X in this amount so that I can achieve this for this reason, or something just insanely specific. And the way you want it to be specific is through SMART goals. SMART goals is an acronym. It stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Basically, when you write a goal, which you should have done within 5 minutes of finishing this video, you want to tick off each one of those boxes. So I'll briefly go over each of them and explain why each is important, which will convince you to actually do it. And if you actually do it, you'll achieve your goal much quicker, and that will help you become an artist, which is the whole point of this channel. Specific is where the goal you're trying to reach isn't vague. Basically, if we relate it to fitness, you might say, I want to gain 5 pounds of muscle. That is a specific goal. But if you just said, I want to get fit, then that would be extremely vague, and it would make it very difficult to work toward the goal. Because fitness, for you, might be improving your cardiovascular endurance, or losing fat, or improving your sprint speed, or something like that. All of those will help with fitness. But if you get specific, like 5 pounds of muscle, then you will be more likely to achieve it because you know exactly what tasks to do. The second one is measurable. You should be able to measure your progress as you go towards the goal. Often, this will naturally come with specific. So with my 5 pounds of muscle example, if you see that your scale is telling you that you've gained weight, and if it's like a SMART scale, it may even tell you that it's muscle, then you'll be able to see that over time as you step on the scale. But I want to relate this to art. So what could a specific goal with art be? So we could take two sides to this, because within being an artist, there's actually being good at art, and then there's also making money from it, which we need to do both of. So maybe with making money, we want to make $2,500 per month after a year of working for it through an online business. That would be very specific. And if we're trying to actually be good at art, then maybe the goal would be to draw feet every day for 30 days or something like that. And if you draw feet every day for 30 days, you'll obviously be good at drawing feet. And now, every time you're drawing a picture that involves feet, the feet won't absolutely suck. As for measurable, if you're keeping a sketchbook or something like that, you'll be able to see the feet progress better and better over time. And if we're going back to the money example, with measurable, if you start making more and more money every month, then you're getting closer to your goal of $2,500 per month at the end of a year. The next one is achievable. You want the goal to be achievable. This is just pretty straightforward. You won't want to set a goal to make $1 billion after 1 year of working for it, because that just doesn't make any sense. But also, I want to make something clear. You also don't want it to be the opposite of achievable, which is like so easy, anyone could do it. So if you said you wanted to make $5 with art, you could probably just walk up to like some random stranger, like after walking up to like 10 strangers, they might give you 50 cents for a piece of art you did or something like that. You don't want it to be so low either. But here's the really special thing. The really special thing is to make your goal reasonably unreasonable, which basically means your goal is possible, it's achievable, but just barely. If your goal is reasonably unreasonable, it does two things. The first thing is it makes it motivating, because when it's reasonably unreasonable, it's usually like a bigger goal, harder to get to, so it would be more exciting if you actually got it. So if you are like only 17 years old or something, and you set the goal to make $2,500 a month through art after a year of trying for it, then that's very awesome for only being 17, right? But it's also kind of unreasonable for you to do that because you're only 17, your skills probably aren't that great in art, but it's still possible because it's still only $2,500 a month, right? But imagine if you said you only wanted to make $200 per month. That is reasonable. I think if you actually wanted to do that, I mean, you could take guys who aren't even good at art at all. They could probably come up with some fun, weird thing to make $200 a month through art. And it's just not that exciting. It's like only $200 after a whole year of working. It's not that fun. The next one is relevant. Why would you want to do it? And this is important because if it's not relevant, why would you work towards it? If you don't have a reason to, why would you? There's a famous quote, "He who has a why can bear almost any how." Have a reason. And not only have a reason, but write the reason in your goal. So a pro tip for when you're making a goal is to have the goal in your face all the time. Like stick it up on your wall, maybe make it your like phone lock screen or something like that. If you make it obvious and see it all the time, then you're going to remember it, work harder towards it because of that, etc. And if within the goal itself it says, I want to do X because this, then you're reminded of why you're doing it the whole time. I mean, if you just think you're supposed to do a goal, like, yeah, I guess I'm supposed to be fit, and then you're like, I guess I'll lose 5 pounds. It's just like, it's kind of unmotivating. It's kind of pointless. But if you have, if you want to like attract people of the opposite sex and you're like ugly right now, then it might be beneficial for you to think about, so that I can get a girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever like that. And it will be motivating then, because then you'll always be able to imagine what it's like to actually attract somebody, which is always fun. And the last one is time bound, because if you set a goal, it's specific, it's measurable, it's achievable and relevant, but you have the next 60 years to do it. There's no deadline. I forgot what the principle is called. If I thought about it, I could probably think of it. I'll probably put it up on screen, but it's where the time you're given to do something is the amount of time it will take to do it. So, for example, if we think about a classroom like back in school, and your teacher says, you have the next 5 months to get it done, then you're probably going to turn it in after 5 months. And honestly, you'll probably just work on it for the past 2 weeks or the past 1 week or the past day or something small. But if she says, it's due tomorrow, you're getting it done tomorrow. And so, make it time bound because you'll get it done in that amount of time. And obviously, make the time a reasonably unreasonable amount of time. So, we've covered what self-improvement is, and we've covered why it's needed and how to set a SMART goal. The next thing I want to tell you is that 2025 is the greatest time of all time to do basically any goal. And the reason why is because you have access to all the information, either free or very, very cheap. So think about this. When this video is posted, there will be the highest amount of YouTube videos there have ever been, because it's not like tons of them are getting deleted or whatever, and so the number just keeps going up and up. So you have the highest amount of YouTube videos. Now let me tell you something special about YouTube videos. They're not always very surface level stuff. I'm kind of making a very beginner friendly video right now. I'm talking about SMART goals, something very basic. But there are YouTube videos that are so autistically detailed that you're basically guaranteed to have a video about your random specific problem. Something insanely specific, right? There's probably a YouTube video about that. And let's say there's not, and you can't find it. There are books. Those also, books are like really cheap and life-changing. Like for $12 you can change your life. But also, lots of these books, because of the internet, are just for free online. Like you can find PDFs so easily. And then also, here's the really special one. It's AI, like ChatGPT. Let me tell you exactly how to use it though, because usually when we think about advice from ChatGPT, it's like basic stuff. It's like you ask it, I have motivation problems, and it gives you basic stuff you've heard before that doesn't really work. Here's what I found is the best way to use ChatGPT. What you're going to do is basically journal to ChatGPT. So like, you know how when you journal, or if you did journal, you probably don't, but let's say you did, you would be writing tons and tons of sentences. Like you could fill up a page, right? You're basically going to be autistic with ChatGPT. You're going to tell it every little detail about your problem and what hasn't worked for you and what kind of worked, but then maybe you forgot to do the step and then you can't remember how to do the step. Whatever, just tell it every detail. When you give ChatGPT every detail, it's going to give you so much better of an answer than if you had just asked a basic question. And also, here's another key thing. There's a time when I was reading a book called The One Thing by Gary Keller. I really like the book. It's an awesome book. But there was like basically a big question, like what was it? Like basically, how do I choose my one thing? It's like I have all these interests and all these goals. How do I choose my one thing? I went through all the details of my problem, like why I feel inclined to do this versus inclined to do that, and why I think this is better, why I think that is better, then how this one maybe can make more money, or this one is like funner or more whatever, right? And then I said this, how would Gary Keller tell me to do it? So now it needs to think in the way of the person you highly respect. So it's like, I'm reading the book, The One Thing, written by Gary Keller. It's awesome. I like the way Gary Keller thinks. So now when I tell ChatGPT to think like Gary Keller, I basically am getting answers from a genius who I respect. It's like if you choose the person that you know is good and then basically tell ChatGPT, become that person, that's worth like millions of dollars right there, right? So you have free books, and if it's not free or you can't find it, just buy it for like $12. You have YouTube videos, which are insanely detailed because they usually go over things that aren't in books. And then you have AI. With all those things, you have no excuses. You can't say, I don't know how to build a business with this because, well, you can figure it out easily. If you want to, go search it up. Not hard. Now, as for autistic details, in future videos, I'll be going over every specific step that you need to do what basically I'm doing, becoming an artist, and I'll be doing it through business like this. I'll teach you what I learn along the way, etc. in the future videos, so subscribe. Also, in the link in the description, I have a Skool community. In the future, there will be courses, etc. I'm still building that. But if you join now, you get tons of direct access to me. You can go on calls with me. Also, as things get released throughout the Skool community, like courses and more live calls and more students, etc., the price will go up. So if you join now, you get tons of direct access with me, you get lifetime access, and you'll get to become the greatest artist ever. Goodbye.